Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jamie Lake. Today I was going to be making a cover for my USB. I got this the other day. I was going to use it for music in my car and we're going to cover it with some wood around there. What I've got, I've got some wood left over from another project. I've got a thin bit of oak, a thin bit of purple heart, thin bit of maple, another thin bit of purple heart, and another thin bit of oak. What I'm going to do is sandwich them together, something like that. But I'm designing on the fly with this one. I've got no plan, so it might change along the way. I might cut it up a little bit more, make it look a little bit more fancy. But first of all, I need to cut these boards up. So we go on with it. Right, so now I've got them cut. They're all the same sort of size. It doesn't matter at the moment because I will be trimming them down afterwards, cutting them up. So now I want to get them into a nice pattern. So I'll put the oak there, those ones there. So it ends up something like that. Now it's time to glue it up. Right, well, it's had sufficient time in the clamp to dry off, so it's time to release it from the clamps now. Right, so now I'm just going to put it through the table saw to clean up these faces a bit. Right, so I've got my blank all nicely cut up now, and what I've done is I've put a false fence onto the fence of the miter saw, and I've also put a stop on with a little cut out there so the dust can collect down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off little bits off of the end here. Slide it along and do the next one. Just a little thing on chop saw safety. That little bit there is now stuck between the blade and the stop. So if you were to lift the blade up while it's running, that little bit there will be thrown out at you. So make sure you turn it off while the blade is down and then take it out. So I've got it all cut out now, and what I've done is I've just swapped, well, moved them along one, and what I'm going to end up with is something like that. Time to glue it up now. What I like to do is a bit of a rub joint, so if you give it a bit of a move then you feel it suck into place. It should stay in that position. You don't need loads of glue, just a little dab on it. I like to use my finger to smooth it out. I like getting messy. Make sure you do get a good even coverage of the glue. Right, what I'm going to do is just apply a clamp to it. And there we are. Right, the blank is all glued up now, and that's what it looks like now. I'm going to cut all these bits off now. Right, so I've cut it out on the bandsaw, cut all the knobbly bits off, and I've tidied it up on the disc sander. Now I'm just working out where I'm going to put the USB. So I'm just marking where I'm going to cut off with the lid of it, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut down the middle here so we can get inside of it, and then we're going to make up a little jig and route a groove out inside where this USB will fit into. So what I've done is I've cut it out in the bandsaw, I've taped it back together, and now I'm just going to chop off the lid. Right, so I've made this sled. I made it quite quickly out of some scrap wood I've got laying around. But basically the blank is kept held in there by friction by these two bits, and then these two bits will act as a guide for the router to come along, so I can route a groove out in there. So this is what it will end up like. There's the lid with the groove in it, and there's the body with the groove in it, and then the USB will get stuck in there. Well, I've gone on ahead and glued the USB into it. I just used some super glue for that, so that's stuck in there. This is the lid. The lid will go on like that. But what I'm going to do now is just sand down where it's too proud. I'm just going to sand this down on the disc sander, all that around there. Right, so I've sanded it down on the sander, and what I'm going to do now is I've got a bit of veneer. I'm going to put that onto the USB like that, and then I'm going to glue this bit back on, just so it accentuates the joint really. Well, I've given it half an hour in the clamps. Taken them out. I've cleaned up the sides of it. Ooh, there we go. You can see it now. It's not looking too bad. It is really still quite chunky at the moment, so I will be doing some final shaping, cutting a bit off of here. Well, I finished sanding the USB, and now I'm going to put 2 coats of Danish oil on it. First I'm going to use a tack rag to get rid of any dust off of it, and then I'm going to apply the Danish oil with a rag. I'll keep my tack rags in this little box, keep them airtight, and they should last longer. Now when I apply this, it's going to make the wood look really lovely. Oh, look at that. Now that the first coat has dried, I'm going to put the second coat on. I'm going to give it a light sand in first, 400 grit. And then I'm going to use the tack rack it off, and I'm going to apply a second coat to it. And just give it a nice coating. Once you've done, always make sure you leave your rags out flat to dry off, otherwise they can spontaneously combust. Right, so here's the finished USB. It's been a really interesting project. I really quite enjoyed it. It's come out quite nice. One thing I have done is inside the lid, I don't know whether you can see that or not, but I've added some slivers of veneer in there just so it gives a nice tight fit for when the USB goes in. So when you turn it upside down it don't fall off. Really enjoyed this project. If you've enjoyed it, please like my video, please subscribe, and onwards and upwards to the next one. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. That little bit out. And now I've lost it down there. Dah! Well, I've cut the knobbly bits off on the bandsaw. I gave it a little tidy up on the disc sander. It's coming out, it's looking quite nice now. So now we're going to look at how we're going to... Right, so I've made this